What's up, guys? We're going to close this out here today with just one packet of notes. This is just a reference sheet, and then this right here are the actual problems. Okay. So my job is to find the two parentheses that when I multiplied them and did the rainbows, I would end up with this. Now you're going to want to put a 1 all the time on every problem in front of x squared. You're going to want to put a 1 there. If there's nothing and not a number there, you want to see three big numbers. Okay, so the first order of business, and I'm going to kind of look at my sheet as I go through this. I'm going to have A, B, C. Okay, A, B, C. Then I draw that little connection. Okay, A to C and times. Okay. Then I make my table. Okay, which is what I have. And I'm going to take A times C, okay? In this case, it's just going to be positive 1 times positive 7. And it's 7. Now, it didn't have a sign, so that means it's positive. You got to put a bubble on with the sign on top, so positive. Okay, that's your first step. Then you need to decide if you're going to minus or add. And then you want to find out what it's going to equal. It's going to equal the B number with the, but we need the number sign. The B number, B, you need the number sign. So I say, what do I have here, a plus or a minus? Well, it's a plus, so we're going to be adding. And the adding is going to equal 8. And 8 is going to be a positive, because that's what it is here. So positive 8. Okay. So now I start my division process and find the two numbers. Then I will sign the two numbers. But first, let's find the two numbers. So I swing my division. 1. 7 divided by 1 is 7. Now let's add 7 plus 1, and that's 8. So I have my two numbers right here. Now I have to sign the two numbers. Now this number here is positive. That means the larger value is positive, and then I can forget about that. Now if we have a positive in the little bubble, they're going to have the same sign. But if I have a negative, they're going to have opposite signs. Well, I have a positive, so I'm going to put same sign right there. So how do you make it positive? Well, what's the same as a positive? Well, a positive. Okay. Then I just make my two parentheses. And I have a 1, so 1, 1, but it's x to the second, so that'll be x, x. And then over here, I just take these two numbers, 1 and 7, and they would both be plus. So it's 1x plus 1 times 1x plus 7. Okay. Now the next one, I put a 1 there, and then I go A, B, C. And then I'm going to draw that connection, okay? And then I'm going to make my table, and I'm going to multiply A times C, 1 times 30. It's 30, 30 is positive, so 30, and remember to bubble the sign on top. We need that there so we can see. Now I got to decide if I'm minusing or adding. Well, negative is minus, positive is add. So we have a positive there, so it's going to be another add. And what am I trying to equal? I'm trying to equal this 11 here. And 11 is negative, so you're going to want that there. Okay, now step 3, I start my division process. So 1 and 30. Now add them. 30 plus 1 is 31. I'm supposed to get 11, so I can't use that. 2. 30 divided by 2, that's 15. 15 plus 2 is 17. I'm not getting 11, so I can't go with that. Now 3 is 10. I take 10 plus 3. I don't believe that's 11. Then I get 4. I got a decimal, so 4 will definitely not be it. Then 5. I got 6, okay? And 6 plus 5 is 11. So it's these two numbers. Now we got to sign the two numbers. So we have a negative on 11, so we need negative 6, and I can now ignore that. Now, if it's a positive, the signs are the same, but if it's a negative, they're different. Well, we have a positive right here, so they are again going to be the same. Okay, so this is negative. How would I make them be the same? Well, if this was a negative. Okay, and then the last closing step, I just make my two parentheses. And it's going to be 1. You're always going to have a 1 there, so for today it's always 1. X a second, X. There won't be anything but a 1 there for a while. Then I put the two numbers 5 and 6. Now since they are both signed off as negatives, we'll write a minus sign. Okay, so 1x minus 5 times 1x minus 6. If you do the rainbows and the blank x squared, blank x, blank, you'll end up with these three. Okay, next thing. A, B, C, and always connect the A to the C with your multiplication, then make your chart. To find the number that goes here, we take 1 times negative 12, okay? That is negative 12, so I put 12 with its negative in a bubble up there. Now I decide if I'm going to minus or add. Well, we have a negative up there, so we are going to be minusing. And it has to equal the B, okay? B 4, and remember, put the positive on the 4. Okay, now I start my division to find the two numbers. So swing that division, and we go 1. 12 divided by 1 is 12. 12 minus 1 is 11, okay? I can't be 11 before. Then 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. So I have the numbers. Now I need to sign them off. We have a positive here, so 6 automatically, the larger number is a positive. Then, what do we have on top, a positive or a negative? Well, we have a negative. So when we have a negative, it's opposite signs. So opposite signs. Okay, so what's the opposite of positive? Well, negative. Okay, and then this is always going to be 1x and 1x. X to the second is x and x. It's like you're breaking it apart. And then 2 and 6. The 2 would have a subtraction sign because it's negative, and the 6 would have a plus sign. 1x minus 2 times 1x plus 6. Okay, my next problem. Remember, follow these steps if you get lost. This is no easy concept, okay? I've had many a class not just struggle with this, and I knew it would take a while, so it's fine. Okay, I put the 1 there, A, B, C. I actually need a number there so I know what to multiply by, and then I take A times C. Then I go set up my table, and to find the top, we just do our multiplying operation. 1 times 9 is 9. Now it appears that 9 is a positive, so we will put a positive. Okay, now we have to decide if we're adding or subtracting. Well, if I have a positive, I'm going to add. We have to add to equal this middle number 10, and 10 is a negative. Okay, now it is time to actually do my table, find the two numbers. So swing that division. Remember, that's dividing when you get to the table. 9 divided by 1 is 9, so 1 and 9. Now add 9 plus 1, I think that's 10, okay? Okay, that will work. Now sign the two numbers. We have a negative here, so 9 has to be negative. And what do we have on top, a positive or a negative? Well, it appears to me we have a positive, so the signs have to be the same. So what's the same as a negative? Another negative. Then I make my two parentheses, and I got 1x, 1x, and then minus 1 and minus 9. Okay, my next problem. 1, then A, B, C. Okay, how do we find what goes on top? We take A times C. 1 positive times 24 negative. I got negative 24, so I put the 24 there. Now, since I have a negative, I will be minusing, and I want the minus to equal 2. 2 is positive. So I swing my division. 24 divided by 1 is 24. 24 minus 1 is 23. Well, I don't have a 23, so it can't be that. Then 2. 2 and 12. Oh, sorry. Okay. 12 minus 2 is 10. Well, I don't have 10 over there. I have 2. 24 divided by 3 is 8. And I take 8 minus 3. I have 5. Then 4. 4 divided by 4 is 6. Okay. Then we take 6 minus 4, and that's 2. So I have found my two numbers. Now we must sign them. We have positive 2. Well, that means you got positive on the larger number, and get rid of that. Now, if we have a negative, okay, if we have a negative, the signs are opposite. Anytime there's a negative up there, the signs are opposite. Anytime there's a positive, they're the same. Well, what's the opposite of positive? Negative. So I make my two parentheses, and then I will have 1x, 1x, and then 4 and 6 go in here. This is minus 4, and this is plus 6. Okay, my next problem, put a 1 there, A, B, C. Again, you're trying to find the two parentheses that if you did rainbows would come to this. Okay, there's a trick though. It's hard, you don't know just instantly. Okay, then my table, to find the top number, that's why we are multiplying A to C. 1 times negative 56 is negative 56. Okay, so I need to know what I'm going to add. I need to know first whether I need to add or subtract or minus. This is a negative, so I would minus. Okay, and that minus needs to equal the B, which is 1 and it is negative. Okay, so I swing it, then I got 1, 56. 56 minus 1. Does 56 minus 1 equal 1? Not even close. 56 divided by 2, 28. Does 28 minus 2 equal 1? Not even close. 3. That is a decimal. Don't use it. 4. 14. Now 14 minus 4, is that going to equal 1? I don't think it will. 5. Decimal. If it's a decimal, you don't even really need to put this number down. 6. If you want to save yourself some room. Okay, let's come over here. 7. 56 divided by 7. I got 8. 8 minus 7 is 1. Found it. Now, given the fact that the 1 is a negative, the 8 is a negative, and this is a negative up here, so the signs have to be the opposite. Because multiplying two numbers of opposite sides gives you a negative. Multiplying two numbers of the same side gives you a positive. So opposite would be plus. Okay, so I put 1x, 1x, because 1x times 1x is 1x to the second. Then 7 and 8 plus minus. Okay, next up. A, B, C. That's always a first step with the trinomial. To find this, we do the multiplication. Positive 1 times positive 6 is 6 positive. So because I got positive, I will add to 5. Now know that 5 is a negative. 1, 6. Remember, you're adding. 6 plus 1 is not 5. 2, 3. Is 3 plus 2 5? Sure it is. Okay. So I have the numbers. Now I need to sign them. 5's negative, so negative. Then we have positive. That means the signs are the same. That does not mean this is positive necessarily. That just means they're the same. So what's the same as negative? Another negative. So 1x, 1x, and then 2 and 3, and they would both be minus. Okay, A, B, C. Table, to find the number, we take 1 times 8. That easy. 1 times 8 is 8. It is positive. So positive is an add, not a... I'm trying to add to the 6. And the 6 is negative, which becomes important when I'm trying to sign my numbers. So divided 1. 8 divided by 1 is 8. 8 plus 1 is not, I got to get 6, not 9. 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay. 4 plus 2, remember you're adding, is 6. Okay, so we have our numbers. I look over here, I see we had a negative on the 6, so in larger numbers, negative. Now we have positive again up here, so the signs are the same. Same sign. So if that's negative, to be the same, that'd have to be negative. So 1x, 1x, and then minus 2 and 4, minus, minus, okay? One way you can always check your answer at the end, I'm going to let you in a little secret. You can add these two, at least on this assignment. You can't always do it this way, but you can add these two. Negative 2 plus negative 4, add those two, and it should be the B. Now times those two, negative 2 times negative 4, it should be the C. Okay. It's always a way to check as long as your A is a 1. Okay. Okay. So A, B, C. Times, we are taking positive 1 times positive 8, and that is positive 8. So it's a positive, so we will be adding to 6. Now you're like, this is the last problem. Well, this time 6 is plus, positive. Okay, so I swing my division. 1, 8 divided by 1 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. Well, I have 6. So I got to go. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 plus 2, I think, 6. I better check to be sure. Yep. So I see plus, 4 is plus. Now again, we have a positive up there, so that means the signs are the same. So that's plus, that would be plus. So 1x, 1x, plus 2, and plus 4. Once again, I told you to check your answer. You can add 2 and 4, and it should be the B, the middle number. Now multiply positive 2 and positive 4, it should be the C. Okay? That's how to check your answer. So remember, is this right? Well, as long as you have a 1 there. Okay? It has to be a 1. Okay, A, B, C. So I will be taking A times C. Positive 1 times positive 40, and that's 40 positive. Okay, so this is going to be another add, not a minus, and we are trying to add to 13. And remember, 13 is a negative. So 1. 40 divided by 1 is 40. 40 plus 1 is not 13, it's 41. Now I go to 2. I got 20. But 20 plus 2 is not 13. I don't really care what it is if it ain't 13. 40 divided by 3 is a decimal. 4. 40 divided by 4 is 10. And you're like, oh, that's 14. Maybe Hermsen messed it up. No, actually I didn't. Okay. Let's try 5. 40 divided by 5 is 8. Let's add 8 plus 5. That would be 13. So I have found my values. Now sign them. You have negative on 13, so 8's negative for sure. You got to trust me on this. And we have a positive here, so the signs are once again the same. So negative to be the same, you'd have another negative. So you got 1x, 1x. As long as you have 1x, minus 5, 5 and 8, minus, minus. Now again, to check your answer, you can add these numbers, negative 5 plus negative 8, and it should be the B. To find the C, you can multiply the numbers, and it should be the C. Okay, next problem, A, B, and C. Okay, top number, you take 1 times 18. Again, 18, and 18's again positives. Getting a lot of positive. I don't really like that. Okay, but that's okay. So positive, I'm again adding, and I'm trying to add to 11, and 11 is a positive. So now swing your division, and we rock and roll. 18 divided by 1 is 18. 18 plus 1 is not 11. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. Nice. 11's plus, so 9's plus. And we have another positive, so they're again the same. So the same as, I mean, you get rid of this after that's been signed. To determine this, you say, okay, I got positives, so they got to be the same. That is. Okay, so I go 1x, 1x, and then 2 and 9, and those would both be plus. Plus 2, plus 9. Now, how do we check our answer? As long as the A is 1, you can check your answer like this. You can add 2 plus 9 is 11. Then you can multiply 2 to 9, and that's 18. All right, now the next one. I just want to take this is the last one, but it is going to take me a while to find. You find it. negative 90. Okay, so I'll be taking positive 1 times negative 90. Now we got, 1 times 90 is 90, but it's positive times negative, so that means it'll be negative up here. Okay, we got a negative, so we will not be adding, we will be minusing. And we are minusing trying to get 1. Now 1 is positive, which is very important when I sign my numbers. So I have 1. 90 divided by 1. 90. 90 minus 1 is not 1, it's 89. Okay. 90 by 2. 45 minus 2 is 43. That doesn't work. 90 by 3 is 30. 30 minus 3 is not 1. I mean, you can check it, but it ain't. 4. 90 divided by 4 is a decimal, so we're not going to use that. 5. 90 divided by 5 is 18. 18 minus 15. 18 minus 5, my bad, minus 5. 13, I need a 1. 6. 90 divided by 6 is 15. 15 minus 6 ain't 1. It's 9, but I don't have a 9 sitting there. 7. Decimal. 8. Decimal. 9. 10. And what is 10 minus 9? 1, finally. Now we sign the two factors. We had plus 1, so we have plus 10. See ya, don't need you anymore. We have a negative here, so that tells me the signs have to be the opposite. So what's the opposite of positive? Negative. So we're going to have 1x, 1x, and then the 9 and the 10. 9 would be a subtraction, and 10 would be an addition. To check your answers, we can add negative 9 plus 10. It's 1 positive. That's the same as the B. Now I multiply negative 9 times 10 is negative 90, the same as the C.